Ladies and gentlemen,
Ghosts and ghouls,
we welcome you to a KCH Halloween Spectacular.
get under the covers.
Grab your candy
And
and,
let's get creepy. You know what was really awesome?
What?
So the other day I had dinner with my parents, right?
That must have been fun.
Yeah, it actually was. It was actually really
okay.
awesome. I got to talk to my dad like one-on-one a little bit, which was really, really nice, really, really needed. He put some things in perspective for me. And it just kind of reminded me, my dad gives good advice.
Your dad does give good advice.
And I think I forgot that.
He doesn't seem like the guy that would give good advice.
But he really
he
does. You know? And I don't know. It kind of reminded me that, like, I should definitely seek his advice more often. Because he's also, like, not very judgmental about anything. Like, he's very chill.
Yeah, I completely agree with you. And I think just in general, we should, as people, be more open to seeking advice from different sources.
Oh, absolutely. You know, speaking of different sources, I think it's time for everybody's favorite. Ride or Die. So I'm going to fan out these cards for us today. And Diamond, you are going to pick one.
Okay.
This one?
Yes, this one.
All right, perfect. We have the Chariot. So some of our keywords here are going to be control, willpower, success, action, and determination. Sounds like a very promising card.
Sounds like a very fitting card as well.
Fitting?
Mhm.
For what?
Well, as you know, I've committed to waking up early every day, making myself breakfast every day, which is something that I never did before, and it's been working wonders.
Huh. Sounds like some willpower and success there, huh?
Right.
So yeah, the Chariot is a card of willpower, determination, and strength. You have discovered how to make decisions in alignment with your values with the Lover's card, and now you are taking action on those decisions. When the Chariot appears in a tarot reading, take it as a sign of encouragement. You have set your objectives and now are challenging your inner power with a fierce dedication to bring them to fruition. Sounds so good for what you're doing lately.
Yeah, it's very fitting.
Now is not the time to be passive in the hope that things will work out in your favor. Take focused action and stick to the course, no matter what challenges may come your way, because believe me, there will be challenges. You may be pulled in opposite directions and find your strength and conviction tested.
Hey, aren't we in Mercury retrograde right now?
Don't remind me.
We will be tested. Our strengths will be tested. We just need to stay strong. That's all it means.
So you mean my chaotic energy is going to get more chaotic? No way.
Yeah, that's pretty much the direction we've been heading all this time.
For those who do not know, I'm pretty chaotic.
Chaotic as fuck.
Chaotic as fuck would be a great way to describe it. But you know what? I also think I'm pretty fun too, you know?
Hey, that's what we said. We said chaotic, didn't we?
Yeah. I mean, you've been hanging out with me for like, what, 21 years? Something like that?
Something like that. We've had 21 Halloweens together.
Just about, yeah.
This will be our 21st.
I don't know if we were together on Halloween when we were babies, like baby
Probably
babies.
not,
Probably
but we're just
not.
going to count
but
it.
This is, yeah.
We were together in spirit.
In consciousness, I've been with you almost every Halloween for the last 21 years.
Yeah, man, Halloween was always so much fun because I
Oh my
always
God,
had to
yeah.
go to your place to trick or treat because where I lived, there weren't any kids. There was just doctors around me.
Yeah, that's lame.
No one had candy. They just
No
had...
one. I don't want a toothbrush.
Exactly. They were all just dentists. Like, it was the most depressing
Lame.
thing.
My neighborhood was pretty good for trick or treating.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, it's gotten lame nowadays.
Yeah,
a lot of kids don't trick or treat in my neighborhood.
Yeah, especially not this year. I don't think you're even
I
allowed
know
to.
they are actually. It depends. All right, for New Jersey at least, it depends county by county.
Okay.
But a lot of them are doing it. I think personally that's because within the last decade we've already canceled one Halloween when Sandy hit.
Yeah, and that didn't go over well.
No, it did not. And
And-
you know what? Trick or treating hasn't felt the same since.
Facts. Yeah.
And now I'm old enough that I get to be the person sitting at home drinking and handing out candy to kids. And I'm worried no kids are going to come.
I'm not worried about that.
I mean, then again, we already discussed how, if a kid knocks on your door, you shouldn't answer.
Oh, yeah. No, I'm not even on Halloween am I going to answer.
No, seriously.
Because here's the thing.
Well, you're not going to be at your house on Halloween.
Fair. Not to mention the way my apartment is set up, you can't just come to my door. If someone knocks on my door, it's my neighbor, and she's never.
Yeah.
So, no.
Yeah.
No.
Not like here. I feel like I might actually have trick-or-treaters this year.
But that'll be fun because I'm going to be over here for Halloween, and I know that you and I are dressing up.
I know. I need to figure out, finalize what I want to be for Halloween.
Yeah, I think you and I have changed what we wanted to be 6 times in the
Yeah.
past 2 hours.
I wanted to be Jack Black,
Yes.
but
That requires thrift shopping.
it does, and I work, almost every day till Halloween.
Yeah.
And I still have other stuff that I want to do. I still have decorating to do. I feel so moving right before October sucks.
Mm-hmm.
But it's fine. It's whatever. Stuff will go up when it goes up. And honestly, a lot of the stuff that I bought for Halloween's probably just going to become genuine decor in my house.
Yeah, I kind of figured that.
Oh, please. We all knew that.
And that's purely because you're just a spooky person. The Halloween decor that's going to remain up in my place is because I'm lazy.
That's, don't forget that I'm also very lazy.
Mm-hmm.
And as I switch stuff out from Halloween to holidays like Christmas, my Christmas stuff's probably going to stay up until February.
Oh, yeah, my Christmas... I live in Christmas all year round, so...
Yeah.
So my Christmas
I'm the
stuff just
spooky
stays
year
up.
round, you're the Christmas year round.
Yes, I love Christmas.
But yeah, I think that's a pretty good balance.
Yeah, spooky and Christmas.
Spooky and Christmas.
We're like A Nightmare Before Christmas all wrapped in one.
Disgusting. I love it. Yeah, it's crazy. We've been having Halloween together for well over a decade.
Mm-hmm.
Realistically, that's wild.
What are your favorite Halloween traditions?
It's definitely changed as I've gotten older.
Mm-hmm.
Definitely absolutely started out with trick-or-treating, obviously. And, even as an adult, I still appreciate trick-or-treating. If I could still go trick-or-treating 100,000%, I would. Shit. I'm actually very proud of my little brother. He just turned 16 this year, so last year he was 15. And he went trick-or-treating last year.
Good for him.
He made his own Halloween costume.
Aww.
And I'm proud of him. But, my favorite tradition now as an adult is still probably dressing up.
Yes, I love dressing up so much, especially because I don't cosplay like you do.
Yeah.
And it's my only chance of the year that I get that I can pretend to be a different thing.
Yeah. You know what's funny about cosplaying though?
Hmm.
On Halloween, I want something easy and minimal effort.
I know. See, this is what message to all of you people who do not cosplay but want cosplay friends to dress up with. They won't dress up with you. They'll dress up for their cons and everything. They'll go ham, but come Halloween time, they're rolling off here like cats.
Well, especially because you have so much con season is
you
very
put so much effort into it and so much money. Once Halloween comes around, you're washed up. You're
well, and it's the end of the season.
Mhm.
It's the end of con season.
Yeah, so you're senior spring. You're done.
But yeah, I definitely think that dressing up might still be my favorite tradition. And Diamond, I don't know if you've gathered this or not yet.
Mm-hmm.
I love Halloween.
What?
I know. Listen.
What? What?
Listen, Halloween...
This is news to me.
I know. Halloween's my favorite time of year, right? I love the fall in general just because it starts to get colder out. I'm a sweaty motherfucker. I need... But listen, I'm a sweaty motherfucker. So I love that it starts to get cooler. I'm a spooky bitch like we talked about. I love spooky decorations. I love all things haunted. I love doing haunted attractions and haunted hayrides and everything. COVID fucked some of that shit up this year. But generally speaking, I love all of that. But I realized, especially as we were doing the research and everything for this week's episode, I realized that I don't know a lot about Halloween. Like, I don't know a lot about where it comes from or where the traditions start or anything like that.
Yeah, honestly, as a child, I always just thought it was something that Americans made up one day.
Yeah, like, I knew that it stemmed from something, because I feel like in elementary school, they talked about, like, vaguely the history of Halloween.
They were more focused on Thanksgiving for me. Like, they
Right.
didn't really talk. They were like, hey, it's Halloween, make a scarecrow, and then we're going to talk about Thanksgiving for 3 months.
I agree, but, you know, the funny thing is, as I was doing the research for this week's episode, I learned that Halloween's actually kind of a bit more complicated than I initially thought.
That's fun.
And that's really just because there's no one true answer of this is what it's from, at least for an American standpoint.
Yeah. You can say that about a lot of holidays.
Well, obviously. But there's theories and there's a couple of festivals that all point to what we know today as Halloween, or All Hallows Eve. But some of the origins are still unknown, mostly because the festival that shaped our Halloween today is from hundreds of years ago. Some speculate even up to 2,000 years ago. You know, festivals taking place in autumn are not anything special. They're not unusual.
Yeah, I mean, it's the harvest, you know.
Exactly. Most cultures celebrate something for the harvest season.
Mm-hmm.
You know, praying to different gods, goddesses, praying for bountiful harvest, easy winters, whatever other thing is needed for the season, you know?
Yeah.
So it's hard to pinpoint where things started exactly.
Mm-hmm.
However, a lot of our modern Halloween traditions, including dressing up, come from one source.
Really?
Yeah, and that is a Celtic tradition called Samhain. And for those of you who may not know, the Celts are from the British Isles, mainly Ireland and Scotland.
Man, the Irish come up with just so much.
You know, speaking of the Irish, I myself am very Irish.
Mm-hmm.
But also, the person who kind of turned me on to this point of research was actually our music producer, John, who's also very Irish. So,
Shout out to you, John.
shout out to you, John. Thank you for the recommendation for this week's episode. Samhain is a Celtic pagan festival, translating literally to summer's end. This was a festival celebrating the end of the harvest and the beginning of the winter, or as they called it, the darker half.
I like that so much better than
Right?
winter.
I think it's really cool. But this was also considered the beginning of the new year in Celtic cultures.
It makes much more sense than
It
the one that we
does.
have.
And as they saw it, it was the ending of the harvest, so the ending of the year and the ending of the cycle.
Mm-hmm.
As everything began to get colder and snow over, they knew that life was starting to begin again, that plants and animals were resting in order to grow again in the spring and summer months.
Yeah, definitely.
I think it makes a little bit more sense than the middle of winter.
Yeah, I straight up have no idea where we came up with this new year.
I know, seriously. And especially because a lot of other cultures celebrate their New Year's at different times,
Mm-hmm.
you know? But that's besides the point. The celebration of the end of summer would start sunset on October 31st and go until sunset November 1st.
Huh.
So the Celts believed that the day started at darkness, then progressed through light and ended in darkness again. And I think that's really poetic,
Yeah, it's beautiful.
right? Now, you might be thinking, okay, Malcolm, how the hell does this tie into our Halloween?
Yeah, seriously, I'm not here to learn about the harvest.
I know. Almost everyone has an autumn festival. Why is this one so special? Well, like I said, some of my favorite traditions come directly from this festival. So, a little bit about that. So, the Celts believed that this was the time of year that the connection between us and the spirits was the strongest. Now, it doesn't seem like I'm getting to a point, but I promise that I am, so hang in with me.
I'm hanging.
So they believed that on this night, October 31st, the spirits would come out. Now, there were two main types of spirits that they celebrated during this festival, one of which was seen as mischievous and sometimes dangerous. They tried to offer fruits and ales for the spirits, so in hopes that during the winter months, they would cause no harm. These creatures might be more commonly known today as the Fae or as fairies.
Huh. So, fun fact, I've actually been learning a decent amount about the Fae and fairy folk.
Oh, that's super cool. So what they would do is they knew that these creatures needed to be respected and honored so as to not anger them and feel their power and spite.
Mm-hmm.
So what they would do is during this time of celebration, people would often go door to door asking for food offerings. Now that kind of sounds like a tradition we have today now, doesn't it, Diamond?
It does, a little bit.
So a tradition that, well, kind of sounds like trick-or-treating. Huh. Cute.
Yeah.
We would give gifts to these creatures so they wouldn't be malicious. It almost sounds kind of like give me
a
candy
treat,
or I'll egg your house.
Huh. Which has always been, like, my favorite
Oh yeah.
thing.
Or the
Like,
flaming bag of dog poop.
Like, hey, please give me free candy or I'm gonna fuck your shit up. And
Yeah,
people just
right?
accepted it. They were like, yeah, no, you're a child. I will take your threat
Absolutely. Now, the second type of spirit to come over would actually be the souls of the dead who would come back home. Overnight, fires would be lit and a setting at a table would be done. Overnight, fires would be lit and a setting at a table would be done to honor the dead. You know, almost kind of sounds like Day of the Dead.
Oh my gosh. I have so much appreciation for that holiday. It is such a beautiful holiday. And
And-
shout out to Coco.
Right? Oh, God.
Because every element of that holiday has me enthralled.
It's very, very beautiful, and it does sound a lot like an ofrenda that they're doing, you know,
Mhm.
setting a place for their loved ones so that way they can come and visit. A lot of cultures kind of honor their dead like this.
Mhm.
You know, even today, we often put flowers or little gifts on tombstones, especially on the anniversary of the person's deceased.
Yeah, yeah. And if you drive down any road, I feel like every road has some sort of cross or something where someone got into a car accident, unfortunately, and there's like flowers
Yeah.
and little remembrances left for them.
Yeah, so that way they know that one, they're missed, and two, they can kind of find their way back.
Yeah.
I think it's very sweet. I also mentioned that this is where my favorite tradition of dressing up came from.
Oh?
So, tying back into what we mentioned before, right? Some of those spirits can be very malicious. What do you do about these malicious spirits? Well, you disguise yourself, of course, so
Oh,
they
like-
can't recognize you.
Like Bill Murray in Zombieland.
Exactly. Little mask, little makeup, throw on a costume. Unrecognizable. Blend into your surroundings, you know?
Yeah.
But yeah, they would dress up in order to distract the spirits and confuse them. The idea was by dressing like what they believed the spirits looked like, it would confuse them and they would think that they were one of their own and not attack. How did these come over to America today in our modern traditions?
I mean, I would assume, like any other, we either stole it or it was migrated into us.
So it was migrated into us in this instance. Irish settlers came over
Mm-hmm.
and kind of continued this tradition, and it slowly became more widespread and commercialized as we know it today. You know, instead of it being about getting gifts for, you know, malicious spirits, it became more of like a childish holiday. It just became commercialized.
Mm-hmm.
And actually, Halloween as we know it today, you know, the trick-or-treating, the costumes, decorating, it's very American.
Oh, yeah. It's a very American holiday because none of us are sitting out here thinking that the malicious spirits look like a Power Ranger.
Yeah, seriously. But yeah, that's how most of those traditions were brought over for us today,
Yeah.
you know?
It's really interesting how all of these traditions that we practice so mindlessly with Halloween were originated.
Oh,
And it's
yeah.
funny that the entire festival that this originated from was a Celtic festival, because I have another tradition that originated in Ireland.
Oh, that's excellent.
And it might be one that you guys are familiar with. It is of the carving of a jack-o'-lantern.
Ooh, exciting.
So the tradition of carving jack-o'-lanterns originated with the Irish story of Stingy Jack. Now, this story is like centuries old. I couldn't get an actual date on it, but it's been believed for hundreds of years.
All right.
So, Stingy Jack was a local drunkard, and he lived up to his namesake. He was very stingy, very close with his money. He didn't like to give it away, and most of that was because he didn't have much money to begin with. He was your everyday derelict.
Ooh, good word choice.
Thank you. And he was very cunning as well. Wasn't very charming, but he got away with a lot. He tricked people left and right.
Ooh.
The legend has it that the devil got word of his reputation, and he wasn't happy about it.
Well, yeah. The devil is the king of deception. If someone else is, putting his name to shame, he's going to come out and give him a lesson.
Exactly. So the devil came to Earth in hopes of reclaiming his title. And the story goes that Jack was walking along, well, more like stumbling along a cobble road, and came upon a man who was laying on the ground. The man turned out to be the devil. Jack, seeing the devil and knowing that these are his last moments, asked him, "Could I, in my last moments, have a drink?"
All right.
Devil.
Well, especially if he's a drunkard. I mean, it makes
Yeah.
sense that his last wish would be a final drink.
So the devil was like, "You know what, bud? Sure." So they went to a bar. They had a drink or two. And Stingy Jack somehow convinced the devil to turn himself into a coin in order to pay for the drink.
Huh.
Right.
To get one up on the devil's pretty impressive there.
Right. And that's not even the end of it there. Instead of paying for the drink with the devil coin, he puts the coin, who is the devil, into his pocket that also has a silver crucifix that prevented the devil from changing back into the devil.
Oh my god.
So he made a deal with the devil, saying, "I will free you if you promise to leave me alone for 10 years. And should I die within that 10 years, you cannot claim my soul."
Oh, sounds like a pretty good deal to me.
Yeah, so the devil agreed, and that was that. And 10 years later, they meet again. And the devil's like, "All right, bud, it's time." And they are standing by this beautiful, large apple tree. And Stingy Jack looks up, and he says, "You know what, devil, old friend? I would really love an apple. Just a nice, juicy apple for my last moments."
That's kind of symbolic there now, isn't it? Huh?
Yeah. And devil's like, "I got you, man." So he climbs the tree to retrieve the apple. And while he's up there, Jack surrounds the base of the tree with crosses.
So he couldn't come down.
So he couldn't come down. So another deal was made. And Jack said to the devil, "I will remove these crosses and let you come down if you vow to leave me alone completely, forever, and to never claim my soul."
Yeah, I've bested you twice now.
Mm-hmm.
I've proven my intellect.
Exactly. So
Leave me alone. You don't get me now.
Exactly. So the devil agrees, and Jack lives on his very sad, decrepit life of drinking and tricking and
Yeah.
making no real progress in his soul or in any other respect. And he eventually dies.
Yeah.
As things.
Well, what happens? I mean, he obviously can't go up into heaven. I mean, like in
Well,
his soul should be one that goes to the devil, but it can't now.
so let's talk about that. He gets to the pearly gates, and God says, "No.
Absolutely not.
There's no way that I'm letting such an unsavory soul into paradise."
Yeah.
Then Jack turns to the gates of hell and he's begging to get in, and the devil says, "No, I hold up my ends of the deal."
Ha!
So he sent Stingy Jack to live the rest of eternity between life and death.
Yeah, as a spirit, as a specter.
Mhm.
You know, his soul can't be claimed by heaven because he's a horrible person. And he asked the devil not to take his soul to hell.
And the devil, as we know, holds up his ends of the deal.
Oh, in full.
And the only thing that he is given to light his way is a burning coal, which he placed in a carved out turnip.
Really?
Mm-hmm.
And a carved out turnip?
Yes. It didn't start with a pumpkin. In fact, the pumpkin wasn't adopted until Halloween became very Americanized.
Oh, okay.
It originated with turnips and potatoes. He would wander the darkness night after night after night with this lit turnip in his hand. And people locally in Ireland, to keep Stingy Jack away and to protect them from his tricks, they would put out carved potatoes and turnips because they were very readily available in Ireland. I'm
Yeah,
sure.
well, yeah.
Of course. And when all of these Irish traditions were brought to America, the turnips and potatoes were replaced with pumpkins because...
Well, that makes sense.
Yeah, and this is actually a fact that I learned about because I didn't know this, that pumpkins are indigenous to America.
Yeah, they are. A lot of squashes are, actually, because they grow really well in the climates in this area.
Yeah, I had no idea about that. I didn't know where I thought we got pumpkins from.
Yeah.
But I just figured, like...
I don't know why. I always feel like nothing's from America
Exactly.
originally.
Like, we're just...
Everything was brought over.
Exactly, yeah. But that's why we carve pumpkins, is to keep Stingy Jack and his tricks away.
Is that why they're called jack-o'-lanterns?
In fact, his first name, it started with him being called Jack of the Lantern. And then it eventually
got
became
shortened.
Jack-o'-lantern.
Oh, I like that. That's awesome. Oh, that's so...
It's a really cool, like, neat story. I had no idea why we carved pumpkins. I thought it was just decoration, to be honest.
Yeah, seriously.
I thought someone just went on Pinterest one day and just carved up a pumpkin.
We've been carving pumpkins well before Pinterest.
Well, whatever Pinterest was before Pinterest.
Yeah, that's fair. Whatever magazine.
Exactly, yeah.
Tabloid, radio station, whatever.
Yeah. So, to keep on the spirit of Halloween traditions and legends and their origins, I also want to talk about something that I found out that was really cool, is a fact that I learned about witches.
Ah, you with witches, man. 2 weeks in a row, huh?
Yeah. This one's really cool because it is why witches are often depicted riding brooms.
I think I kind of know a little bit about this one, but do go on.
The fun thing about this legend is that it's not so much based on folklore and stories handed down person to person. It's more so based on herbology and scientific fact.
Really?
Mm-hmm. Yeah, it's pretty cool, actually. So, common herbs that were often used in alchemy and witchcraft contained what are called tropane alkaloids.
Okay.
Which are hallucinogenics.
Yeah.
And a lot of these herbs are mandrake, nightshade, henbone, and jimsonweed. They were often used in the Middle Ages to make different brews and ointments to try to help ailments.
Like pains and stuff
pains
like that,
and all that, yeah. However, sometime between the beginning of the use of these herbs and now, there was a realization that these chemicals can be absorbed through the skin and mucous membranes.
Okay.
To further the hallucinogenic effects.
All right.
And to skip the uncomfortable digestion, because when you do digest these herbs, it creates...
It makes your stomach hurt.
Yeah.
It makes your tummy upset.
Yes, it does.
Gives it the rumblies.
Yeah, more so than lactose, just like in general for
Yeah.
everyone. And it was found to be exceptionally effective when it was absorbed by mucous membranes of the vaginal and rectal areas.
I'm sorry?
Yes.
So...
Yes.
And this is tying back into, why witches ride brooms, right?
Oh, yeah.
So, alright, you got me intrigued. What's going on?
So we have that chemical. We know witches often practiced alchemy, in which
Yeah.
obviously they practice witchcraft.
Yeah, they
And they-
were a lot of times the ones who discovered the purposes for these medicinal herbs and everything.
Definitely. So it would be commonplace for a witch to be using these herbs.
Yeah.
Now, where does that tie into a broom, though? So, in an investigation of a witch, of a supposed witch,
Mm-hmm.
in 1324,
Alright.
the report said, and I quote, "In rifling the closet of the lady, they found a pipe of ointment wherewith she greased a staff, upon which she ambled and galloped through thick and thin."
Now, granted, I didn't speak English in, the 1300s. However, to my understanding, that almost kind of sounds like
She was riding it a little bit different than
she
we.
was
pictured.
riding it. Yeah, she was riding it a little bit different than we thought, huh?
Yeah, so let's keep going. So we have the riding down. We have the broom. What about the flying, though? Where did we come up with this whole witches flying on brooms thing?
Yeah,
So these drugs are hallucinogenic drugs.
yeah,
They're not just a body high, but they are also a mind high.
yeah.
It often cause you to go to sleep and have vivid ass dreams. And in 1966, a man by the name of Gustav Schenk gave a description of the high, and I quote, "My teeth were clenched and a dizzied rage took possession of me. But I also know that I was permeated by a peculiar sense of well-being connected with the crazy sensation that my feet were growing lighter, expanding and breaking loose from my own body. Each part of my body seemed to be going off on its own, and I was seized with the fear that I was falling apart. At the same time, I experienced an intoxicating sensation of flying. I soared. My hallucinations were the clouds, the lowering sky, herds of beasts, falling leaves, billowing streamers of steam, and rivers of molten metal swirling along." So the effect of the high gave you the impression that you were flying.
Yeah, that feeling of floating almost.
Mm-hmm.
I mean, I feel like everyone's had that dream, where all of a sudden you wake up because you felt like you were falling.
Yeah.
Your body, it's easy for your body your brain to trick your body into feeling like that, and especially when you're hallucinating.
Fun fact, the reason that you have those dreams is because your BPM drops so far and so suddenly that your brain needs to make sure that you're alive.
Yeah, I heard that. That's a fun one.
Yeah. So I think what happened is because when you hear the words "a witch flying on a broom" or riding a broomstick, you picture the silhouetted witch against a moon.
Yeah, almost like Bewitched.
Exactly. And I think what happened here was a little bit of a loss in translation. They were flying and they were riding the broomstick, but not in the way that we thought.
I mean, they were flying high, huh?
Yeah, they were flying high. And they were definitely riding the broomstick, having a grand old time.
Yeah. That's wild. I can't believe that. That's cool, though. Like
It
that.
is very cool.
And, I mean, the trial and error that you have to do to figure out that that's the best spot to put the drugs. Like, the thought process that got us there.
It's kind of like the first guy who thought to fry an egg.
Or the first guy who thought to drink milk,
Exactly.
What's this white stuff taste like?
Like, where was the thought process here? I would love to know.
Yeah, seriously. But that's really cool. That's actually very interesting.
Mhm.
Yeah, I've definitely seen stuff about that before, but it was nice to kind of hear the whole story of it. But yeah, it's wild where our traditions come from.
It is pretty insane.
Yeah, and-
Definitely.
Like I said before, Halloween has so many little things that have built up through it. Anything spooky or unusual or just that we don't know a lot about
Mhm.
kind of got delved into this Halloween culture of the mysterious, of the spooky, of horror. And all of these different stories and tales and, significant events kind of came together and created what we know today. It's kind of cool.
It is really cool. I mean, I loved Halloween before, but after recording this episode, man, I fucking love Halloween.
Oh, I have such an appreciation for it now, too. Like,
Yeah.
it's so much cooler than I thought it was.
Yeah.
Yeah. You know, I mean, that's kind of why we started doing this whole thing, was because we love the unusual and the paranormal, you know? Everything that's kind of Halloween, we want to bring year round, and especially on Halloween.
Oh, yeah, definitely. The vibes are in tenfold.
And this year, we are spending our Halloween with all you guys, too.
Woo!
So yeah, this year on Halloween, Saturday, October 31st, 9 p.m. Eastern Standard Time, we will be doing our first live stream. So we're going to be streaming on Instagram and Facebook.
And this live stream is pretty special because we don't know how often we're going to be able to do these, if we're going to be able to do them in the future.
Yeah, obviously, of course, our goal is to try and bring you as much content as we possibly can. Probably trying to do a live stream every once in a while, but this one's really special because it's the first one. We'll probably be doing a little bit of a Q&A. We have some personal ghost stories that we're looking forward to telling you about.
We're very excited and a little scared.
A little scared, a little excited about my childhood home growing up. But yeah, be sure, like I said, tune in next time.
And if by any chance you can't tune in, that's okay too, because we'll have it recorded and posted on YouTube and our website.
Be sure to check out for more details. Stop by all of our social media at Killers, Cryptids, Hauntings on Instagram, at KCH Podcast on Twitter. And don't forget that you can always send us your ghost stories at kchpodcast.submissions@gmail.com. We'll probably be looking forward to trying to do a few viewer short stories at some point, so be sure to send us anything you got.
And as always, tune in every Thursday, 8 p.m. Eastern Standard Time for new episodes.
Stay creepy.